Why did you feel it was important to come to the event?
Because I want to fight for the freedoms of Canada and my grandchildren and my kids.
All right, and how long do you plan on staying?
I plan on staying till it's over. Until Justin resigns, all mandates are lifted.
All right, and what would you say to Trudeau if he was here right now?
I would ask him if he's going to listen to the people and let the people have a choice. Because we don't have a choice in his legislation.
Awesome. Anything else that you want to add?
Freedom!
All right, guys, so if you haven't heard, there's a massive protest going on in Canada right now called the Freedom Convoy. Okay, yes, it is a ton of truckers that have come out and say, you know what, we're going to protest and rally against the mandates that are being pushed on them by the Canadian government. More specifically, referring to a mandate that requires truckers returning from the U.S. To be vaccinated. They have to be vaccinated in order to come back into the country of Canada. Now, again, a lot of people are pissed off about this, right? Because they don't necessarily like the mandates. And, you know, I think that the government kind of went after the wrong industry. Okay, you would think during a time like this where there's a supply chain crisis, right? People can't get access to basic goods and services. You might not want to F around with the truckers, or you might F around and find out what the truckers are about. And it seems like the truckers are about that life, right? They're about that life, right? They want all the smoke. That, in my opinion, is what this Freedom Convoy is about, right? So much smoke that Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, actually went into hiding. He went into hiding because of the Freedom Convoy, right? Now, a few days later, aka today, right, we now know the real reason the dude went into hiding is because despite him, you know, talking about let's have more mandates, let's have more lockdowns, let's have more restrictions, dude is tested positive for COVID, right? He's tested positive for COVID, caught the virus, right? So that's the real reason that the dude was hiding, which I found to be interesting, okay? I don't think he's doing his part to stop the spread, but there's a lot of support for you know, this protest going on in Canada with these truckers. Some names out there like former President Trump has expressed his support. Elon Musk has also expressed his support as well, or seemed to have expressed support for this movement. It's not something that the mainstream media is covering because these people have power, right? These people again, are what makes this country run, right? The country of Canada and the country of the U.S. You know, these truckers, right? They're important. So when you see protests like this of this side of mainstream media, they don't want to see it. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it, right? And when they do talk about it, they're going to freak out about it and make sure that everybody knows that if you support this protest or if you participate in this protest, then you are an extremist, right? You're on the fringe, right? So much so that MSNBC, they actually called it a cult. Take a look.
The capital of Canada to a standstill. Dozens of trucks and other vehicles could be seen blocking the downtown area of Ottawa as protesters rallied against vaccine mandates, masks, and lockdowns.
That seems like an interesting way to spend your weekend.
The demonstrations were initially aimed at pushback against vaccine mandates for truck drivers crossing the U.S.-Canada border. But the movement escalated into an expression of disapproval with the Canadian government's COVID-19 policies. Officials say several investigations are underway into reports of severe vandalism and criminal behavior, including the desecration of national monuments. Meanwhile, Ottawa Mayor Jim Watson said some protesters harassed a soup kitchen, demanding free meals because their refusal to wear masks meant they were not to order in restaurants. That soup kitchen tweeted COVID protesters were given meals to defuse the conflict and that this weekend's events have caused significant strain on our operations at an already difficult time.
So these anti-vaxxers actually took food from the mouths of the homeless.
Hungry, yeah.
Because they're so put upon. Because they have a vaccine. I'm just curious, again, where were these protests when people were required to get 5 vaccines to start school? Where were these protests when people were required to give their children 5 vaccines.
They were in the doctor's office getting vaccines.
They were in the doctor's office getting vaccines, and they were making fun of left-wingers on the West Coast for being loopy anti-vaxxers.
Okay.
Now they have met the enemy, and the enemy, their enemy, is themselves, because they've become what they hated. They've become what they mocked. And now they're taking food from soup kitchens because they're so put upon for being asked to do what they've been asked to do, required to do their entire lives. It's a cult.
Yes, it is. A historic moment in the...
All right, guys. So, a cult, right? That's what they call a cult. That's a cult, but they never use that terminology when referring to BLM, right? Black Lives Matter. And, you know, they did not peacefully protest like these people did, right? Like, they're trying to frame these people as, well, these people aren't really peaceful protesters, right? Not only are they protesting the wrong thing, we don't agree with their protest, but also not peaceful. Even though there's videos out there of them picking up trash after the protest. Right? And that's not to say that what happened in that soup kitchen didn't happen, right? That's not what I'm saying. But I think framing it as if, you know, they're taking food away from homeless people is a little bit too much, and trying to act like these people are, you know, being super, super violent, I feel like it's basically an exaggeration, okay? For the most part, these people are overwhelmingly peaceful. And the little things that they are doing, let's say they're vandalizing the statue, the left said that that's okay. They said that's cool, right? You can do that, right? You can do that because it's just a statue. This is just a classic example of narrative, right? The narrative that you want to spin. These protests, right, are bad, right? They're evil because we don't agree with it. BLM protests, even though they burn down buildings, even though people died from it, okay? People lost their lives, all types of crazy stuff. No. Those people are social justice warriors, right? They're fighting for justice, okay? Freedom, not okay, right? Freedom for authoritarian mandates, not okay. But social justice for an issue that really is not really a real issue, yeah. Totally justified. All the violence that comes along with it, right? And when the mainstream media is not trying to smear the freedom truckers and what they're doing as some type of cult, they're calling it a Russian hoax or a Russian propaganda, like this Canadian media company is. Take a look.
I do ask that because, given Canada's support of Ukraine in this current crisis with Russia, I don't know if it's far-fetched to ask, but there is concern that Russian actors could be continuing to fuel things as this protest grows, but perhaps even instigating it from the outset.
Well, again, I'm going to defer to our partners in the public safety, the trained officials and experts in that area.
So, yeah. Incredible stuff that they come up with. When we don't agree with what you're doing, right, is Russia, right? They use Russia as the blame for everything, right? I mean, these people legitimately suggested that Russia might be behind this protest. Really? Right? It can't be that people actually don't like the authoritarian mandates. Can't be that, right? People can't actually feel that way. Everybody loves lockdowns. They love restrictions. They love the mandates. It can't be that. It has to be a Russian operation, right? Just like in the U.S. Hillary didn't lose because people didn't like Hillary, right? Because Hillary didn't appeal to the American people. She didn't lose because of that. She lost because of Russia, right? She lost because of Russia. And when they're not blaming Russia, they're blaming James Comey, right? So again, the media, when they're not ignoring it, right, when they actually cover it, they're freaking out, right? They're saying all types of stuff. But the reason why is because you know that this is powerful. These people literally have the power to bring a country to their knees. It's the same thing in regards to the whole, protest with the airline stuff, right? That basically brought the country to a halt, okay? It brought travel to a halt. People can't go from place to place. Same thing with these truckers, right? During a supply chain crisis, if these people decide, hey, I'm not going to work because I don't like these mandates, it's going to be hard for people to eat, right? It's going to be hard for people to eat, okay? So again, these are not the people I'll be effing around with, right? That's all I'm saying. That is my statement to these government officials. These people have power, and you might want to listen to them. You might want to listen to them, right? And ask yourself, is this policy really worth it? Is it really worth it? I'm not sure, but let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.